We live in a generation of quitters. We live in a generation of people who, as soon as it gets a bit too hard, they decide to drop it. We live in a generation where everyone chooses a safe, comfortable and easy route in life, where they don't seek any challenges. And we've grown up in the most technologically advanced generation. Every single technological advancement has been made to make our lives more comfortable so that we experience less difficulty. So it's fair to say that we've grown up experiencing the most comfort. Out of anyone who's lived on earth, out of anyone who's ever set foot on this earth, we've had more comfort than them. We've faced less difficulties. And because we've had such comfortable lives, our brains now perceive difficulty to be bad and to be foreign and not normal. So then how does this translate to our lives? We're so used to being comfortable that whenever we try to do something that's hard, whenever we try to start a business, when you try to start exercising every day, when you try to do something that's worthwhile, but something that's also hard as well, we quit. And why do we quit? Because we're so used to comfort that as soon as it gets hard, as soon as it gets too hard for our liking, our brain, it tells us to stop. It says, you don't need to do this anyway. It tells us, you're better off watching Netflix, you're better off scrolling on Instagram. You're better off eating the junk food instead of the diets that you set for yourself. And what do? We listen to the brain. Like a weak man. If there's an activity that you know will better you in the future, that you know will benefit you, and you still choose to quit it once it gets too hard, you're nothing but a weak man. And if you do this continually, you're showing yourself no self-respect. Your self-esteem is going to lower until it gets to a point where you can't even look yourself in the mirror, where you hate yourself, where you think you're the most worthless piece of whatever on earth. I'd say quitting is instant gratification in one word. Because whenever you quit, you have that relief. That, oh no, I'm now comfortable, I'm no longer doing that hard thing. So it feels right for a solid, let's say 10, 20 minutes, maybe even a few days, a few months. And then after whatever time period it was, it's now faced with reality. The reality that you've quit, that you sold yourself short. I don't think anyone can live with that. I don't think you can look at yourself in the mirror and think highly of yourself when you're constantly quitting. So it's safe to say that this is something that we have to stop. This is something that we have to fix. And as young men, this is something that we have to stop doing. We can't be quitters. Because imagine if your father was a quitter. Imagine if as soon as his studies got hard, he dropped out. Imagine if as soon as things got tough at work, he stopped going. You'd have no respect for your father. And on top of that, you'd probably have a much worse life. As young men, we need to internalize that we can't quit. Especially things that we know will benefit us in the future. You can't quit. Do you think your future wife will be happy when she hears that you've quit? Do you think your children will be pleased to know that their dad quits a lot? We have to be strong men for ourselves and for the people around us. And after hearing this, you're probably thinking, okay, now what steps can I take to improve my ability to stay on a task? To improve my ability to not quit? The step zero, and the reason why I say step zero is because this is the step zero for everything. Step zero is improve your mental health. Because if you improve your mental health, you have more mental capacity to push through difficult times. Because if you're fighting demons in your head, you can't expect to win the exterior battles. You can't expect yourself to work hard even though you have demons inside of your head. And of course you could do that, but it's extremely hard for you to do that. And it would be much easier if you sorted out your mental health, took a few weeks to sort out your mental health, and then you started pursuing the hard things. Things that you know that you will probably want to quit, but things that you know are beneficial for you. Now the next step is to make your word your honor. You have to value your word more than anything else. If you say something, you have to do it. If you say you're going to do, let's say, if you say you're going to read for an hour, you're going to have to read for an hour. You cannot afford to lie to yourself. So in this process of making your word your honor, you have to only say things that you know you will do. Because you don't want to become a sprinkler and just say everything, whatever, sprinkling out phrases and things that you're going to do, but then in reality you won't do them. And you know what the interesting thing about doing this is? After a while, you'll subconsciously believe that everything you say will come true. And you'll subconsciously believe that you can do anything that you say you can. Because up until now, you've done everything that you said you would. And the reason why this helps is because when you say, okay, I'm going to start a business or I'm going to exercise every day, because your word is your honor, you'll never give up. Because your word is your honor, you'll know that as long as you keep on pushing, you will achieve the result that you want to achieve. Whenever you tell your friends that, I'm going to do this, because your word is your honor, you have to see it through. In one of my favorite songs, Churchill Dance by Jack Harlow and Drake, Jack Harlow says, and I quote, "I did everything I said I would and said it first." That is an amazing line, and it's an example of a man whose word is their honor. And now the last step is to internalize a compound effect. I'm sure all of you know the compound effect graph. And if you look at the compound interest graph, at the beginning it's quite flat. You're seeing no results, you're seeing no progress, no results, no progress. But then as time goes on, it gets steeper and steeper, and the results and products become exponentially greater. And I promise you that compound interest isn't just a mathematical concept. You can apply this concept to your life. The longer you stay doing the good things, the more you work, the greater your rewards will be. So if there's one thing that you have to do to quitting, is to internalize the concept of compound interest and apply it to every single area of your life. And obviously you're still going to quit some things after this. You can't fully transform in the space of 8 minutes. Well, you can, but it's very unlikely. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you have some inspiration to stop quitting. And the last thing I have to say is remember that the future is bright, but only for those who work for it.